What's up, everybody? Vito here, and today we'll be talking about the top 5 Pokemon games to Nuzlocke. So the main things I'll be covering for each of the 5 games are the differences between the randomizer and the non-randomizer, like which one do I prefer for each game, how challenging each one can be, the enjoyment, and then variety. Those are the main topics I'll be covering for each game to decide why I think one's better than the other, or why I think number one's better than the other, like so on and so forth. So let's get right on to it. So with number 5, we've got a lot of people's favorite game, Platinum. So Pokemon Platinum is all around really fun. There's a lot of encounters in the beginning, so you can be very creative with your early team, and I always think that's a very important thing. You got variety. That's the one awesome thing about Platinum. Early game, always fun. And to me personally, I think it's better when it's not randomized, at least for the trainers. You can do like randomized regular Pokemon, like the wild Pokemon, but don't randomize the trainers, because a lot of, like in Gen 4, that's when they start to kind of make the trainers like have really good competitive sets for their Pokemon. Like for example, Cynthia has like a really good team with like Garchomp, Lucario, Togekiss, to name a few of them. And I feel like that's what really sets the game to be a little harder. Also, making the game a 30% level increase for trainers, so it makes them a lot higher and more difficult. In my opinion, I think difficulty is what's fun about Nuzlocke, because you're kind of making it more difficult by playing it in Nuzlocke regardless, so why not add more rules? Also, they have the hardest Elite Four in the series, besides Black 2 Challenge Mode, honestly. And I think that's because it's just how much competitiveness Platinum added to the, not Platinum, I guess Gen 4 added to the series, with all like the good Pokemon like Magnezone, Tangrowth, Garchomp, like all that. And they give the Pokemon, like the Pokemon Elite Four, really good teams, and that is a big reason why I think Platinum is number 5. It's also a very enjoyable game, like just to play through, going through the distortion world and so on and so forth, so that it just adds everything to it. So that's why I have Platinum at number 5. And with number 4, we got Heart Gold Soul Silver. This is kind of a surprise to me, because I wouldn't expect this on the list, just because I think the game is one of the most enjoyable in the series, but the leveling is pretty low compared to the other games in Pokemon. The Elite Four first round, it's like only level 50 is like their ace, which is like Lance's Dragonite, I think. But you can definitely fix it with being a Nuzlocke for 1, the trainer increase for 2, and like a lot of other stuff you can do. So the only reason I have it over the like Crystal and stuff, just because you have Gen 4, Gen 3 Pokemon included as well, just because you have more variety. That makes Nuzlocke a lot more fun. You have more chances to fight more legendaries, so like more chances just to get different types of Pokemon you can play with, so on and so forth. And personally, to me, I think Crystal is the best game in the series, so that's why I think putting Heart Gold's a little weird for me. But then again, variety is a huge factor in why Nuzlockes are so fun, and the more random the better. And definitely because the leveling is so weird in this game, I would definitely at least make the Pokemon a 30% increase. I think personally, personally when I did it, I put it like 40, 45, I'm pretty sure. It was like I think it was last year that I did, so I'm not 100% sure, but it was at least 40. So that's also really good. And then Gen 2 it's very enjoyable, because you can play through the first 8 gens, beat the Elite Four, and then you can go through the last 8, and you just get able to fight more trainers than normal, and then also you can fight Red at the end. And I think that's what makes it really hard, is just fighting a team full of level 100s that potentially could be game breaking, especially. So for number 3, this is probably the most controversial one, because it's obviously, I don't think Gen 1 is a lot of people's like super favorites, but it's definitely up there, just because I think overall Simple is better, and it does Simple almost perfectly. So the reason I have yellow, even like with all the glitches and everything wrong with the game, is because of exactly of that. Like the level balancing is terrible, like overall. Because from the 4th gym to the 5th gym, it's like a 17 level difference, and there's not that many trainers that you can train on to get to that difference. Even like just to train your whole team, you can probably get a couple Pokemon to level 50s to match it, but overall, it's terrible, and I think that makes it more fun, and it's actually way harder just because of that. And it's really hard with or without a randomizer either way, just because there's not that many Pokemon in the game to begin with, so they're going to use a lot of good Pokemon regardless, like Alakazam, Arcanine, Dragonite, and Mewtwo, and Mew. So like if you have it like randomized, you have those guys, and they'll be more common. That's like the only thing, but also like Lance has like Dragonites and all this stuff, so like it's pick your poison. It honestly doesn't matter. I played through it both. I liked it equally. Randomization, it's cool because you maybe get like an early like legendary and stuff. That could make it easier, but it could also make it more fun just because, oh cool, I got a early really good Pokemon, you know? And for your starter, like that makes it a lot more exciting. So the like it's very difficult regardless, so yeah, I honestly think that's fine. And the other fun thing is just the really bad mechanics besides the level, like the level system, is insta-kill moves and crits are based off speed. So if you fight, like get a random Alakazam out of nowhere and they just have like ridiculous speed, they're higher level than you, they'll just crit you over. It's so dumb. Like it's very annoying, but it's fun and it makes it more challenging. So you have to make sure you have fast Pokemon on your team for that. And then there's also the freeze mechanic where you can't be frozen unless you get hit by a fire type move, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I'll edit that in there. And then also like wrap toxic leech seed nonsense, just because leech seeds and toxic are like on their same counter, so they'll like both double separately, and it's ridiculous because that's also a glitch. And I just think that's hilarious and it makes it more fun. And the leveling is also high regardless. Just like the champion, I'm pretty sure, has like their ace is like one of the EVs. And it's like level 65 or 67, I'm pretty sure. And then, yeah, you can do that. You don't have to increase the trainer level if you don't want to, but it makes it great. And also, like, you could just do where the wild Pokemon are randomized instead of the, like, trainers Pokemon. Just because, like I said before, there's not that many Pokemon, good Pokemon are, like, in the game regardless. So they're going to be using all of them to make it harder, and I think it's fine either way. It's just that it's honestly fine, randomized or not, and that's why I like this game, and that's why it's number 3. So for number 2, Emerald. I think Emerald is very good just because I think the physical special split is more prevalent, especially because of mainly because of how many more Pokemon they added right before they changed it in Gen 4. So there's about 300, 400 Pokemon, I'm pretty sure. I think it's closer to 400. Or it might be like a little bit over 400. I'm actually sure, yeah. Because they added 150, 100 in Gen 2, and then 150, yeah. So it's like about 400. So the funny thing is that you have a lot of unique Pokemon you can use because of the physical split. So like you can use Gyarados. And Gyarados' main attack good moves are water type, but they're special, so you can like use a weird special Gyarados, even though Gyarados has a really good attack stat. His water moves suck because his attack stat is so high and water moves are special in that gen. So the one thing I would recommend is definitely play this game randomized because of that, so you get more opportunity to get wacky Pokemon. Also, I think they personally have the best boss fights because the bosses normally aren't the same level as the gym leader you fought previously. They're normally a level or two higher, at least like like a couple of their Pokemon. Like obviously their like earlier Pokemon will be like around the same tier, and that is really cool. So you can play it with the higher trainer level increase, just because the game doesn't really, like, it's not like Heart Gold where it's ridiculously low, but like when you get to Elite Four, the Elite Four is like 49s, and then like increases a little bit, and then the Champion's like 58. So it's not that bad. It's just like when the Elite Four itself is a little low. So that's why I like playing it with the trainer level increase for my enjoyment. But you can also add like little rules where like no potions at all. I've seen people do that. You can do like one potion. I've been doing that recently, and the main thing I think in this game is really good for it, like which makes it, I think, the difference between 2 and 3, in my opinion, if it didn't have like literally 6 or 7 encounters you get early in the game to make your team. It's like the best at getting early encounters because you get the most. You get like 6 or 7, I'm pretty sure. And it's amazing. You can literally customize your team from the get-go. It's not my favorite game in the series. It's not even close to it, but it's a lot of people's favorites. So I think a lot of people will like it that it is number 1. And number 1 is Black 2. And I think I'm going to go from the get-go. The 100% the main reason why Black 2 is number 1 is mainly because it's the only game in the series with challenge mode, and challenge mode basically increases the level of most of the Pokemon trainers. I guess like about 2 or 3 levels. In the Elite Four, it's a little more drastic. I think it's like 4 or 5. But they also add items for the Pokemon. So like competitive items like Life Orb or like Scope Lens or Wide Lens or Weakness Pulse, like any of those like really good competitive quote unquote items, I guess, are going to be added to the Pokemon. So when I did it randomized, but then I realized that it would be so much better if you didn't do it like the trainer's Pokemon as randomized, just because they give specific items to certain Pokemon. So like there's a Haxorus that Iris has that is Dragon Dance, but with Focus Sash. So it's like kind of like a combo thing, and if you just give that to like a randomization Pokemon, like I don't know, like a Walrein, but Sash is not really gonna do anything for it because it can't set up. And there's also like Wise Glasses Hydreigon making special moves stronger, and then Flying Gym Archeops for like acrobatics and stuff. It's like a lot of combos that they thought of and they put it in with challenge mode, and that's what makes it so fun. And easily the best way to play this game is also with the 30% trainer increase, just because later in the post game you can go to Black Tower and then you could rematch Elite Four. This is the only Nuzlocke game that where when you have a 30% level increase, let's say they're like level 75, that's a little higher than 100, but literally the game codes it so where they go past 100. Like when I fought Banga in the Black Tower, for example, his Pokemon were like level 107 because they're all like level 80, and it's ridiculously challenging just because no matter what, you can't go past 100. Their highest level is 107, so you're like a 7 level difference. Their stats are so much higher, and it makes it so cool, and it's a unique challenge that you never had. And also this game has the best post game in a Nuzlocke, just because they add a lot of like ways where you can fight with your own Pokemon instead of like having Battle Frontier where you don't gain XP, you're like all at a set level. You're using your own Pokemon in these like Battle Frontier-esque post-game like challenges like Black Tower and all that stuff. There's also Twist Mountain where it has like a crap ton of trainers with like solid level 80s if you're doing the 30% increase. So before you do that, you like want to do the Twist Mountain, then you want to do Black Tower, and then you want to do the Elite Four. Because the Elite Four has it's like a little higher level than Black Tower bosses. So you want to do that. And the Black Tower is honestly the hardest part of it though, even if the levels are a little lower than like the Elite Fours, just because in the rules of the Black Tower is that when you have each floor has a doctor, and you have to beat the doctor to heal, but you can only use it healed once. So that makes it a little challenging because you can't use the potions during battle. So if you're like around the same level of that, then can't heal, you're gonna lose a lot of Pokemon early. I lost a lot of Pokemon mainly it was like area 9 and 10, just because they're a little harder. I lost 1 in area 9, and then in 10 when I fought Bang, I lost like 3, and it was really fun. So I love Black 2. It definitely has the best play without randomization, like I said, just because of challenge mode. And they also add another Pokemon to the team of the like a lot of trainers. So gyms, some have like 3, they'll have like 4 or 5. Like the Elite Four will have a full team of 6 in the second match, but in the first match they'll have 5 instead of 4. And that makes it a little more challenging just because obviously you have to use more PP. You only get 1 heal per battle if you're doing it that way. Or like either way, like honestly, even without the heals, it's still hard just because if you're around the same level, they're doing a lot of damage to the challenge mode and all that stuff. And make sure when you're playing this game, since there's like a lot of baby Pokemon that are bad in Gen 1, I mean not Gen 1, Gen 5, make sure that on the settings you can make it to where they're forced evolved to like all their like max level Pokemon that they can be. So like you won't be fighting Lyretards. Let's say you set it to 50, past level 50, and all that stuff. So that'll be really cool. So I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna go over my top 5 really quick. So we got number 5, we got Platinum. Number 4, we got Heart Gold. Number 3, we got Yellow. Number 2, we got Emerald. And number 1, we got Black 2. Notice that Black version and Fire Red and stuff, even though Fire Red's one of my second favorite game of the series, it's not on here. Just because it's hard to explain, but these are my top 5. I know Black being not on here is probably controversial, but I think Black 2 is just a much better game to do it in, and that's why I have it at number 1. So thank you guys for watching. I might be doing another top 5 video soon, so stay tuned.